Welcome to the Publish Creator Podcast, the show where books become brands and creators become CEOs. I'm your host, Rodney Washington, a book coach, brand strategist, and founder of the Published and Thriving movement. If you're an author, coach, or content creator with a book or even just an idea, this podcast will show you how to turn it into a thriving offer, a loyal community, and a lasting legacy. Each week, I'll share real-world strategies, inspiring success stories, and behind-the-scenes coaching to help you build momentum, whether you're just publishing your first book or ready to expand into courses, memberships, and more. Because publishing isn't the end of the journey, it's the launch pad. Let's build your brand, multiply your impact, and create the freedom you deserve. Enjoy today's episode.
So yeah, concept above everything. Then the second part of the school would probably be like, okay, just understanding your metrics and the numbers you want to hit, and then how to hit those numbers. Because at the end of the day, Kickstarter is it's a sales funnel. It is an email marketing sales funnel. So you want to have your ads or your organics. For my book, I was very active on Reddit. I was very active on Facebook. I was very active in Discord. And I was very active in Facebook ads, and everything I did built up hype and pointed people to that landing, to the Kickstarter pre-launch page, and or collected their emails. And then with the emails, I hyped once a week, every Tuesday at 8 a.m. I was, hey, here's a teaser of the book that's coming out. And then in the 3 days before the book launched, it was, and this goes into the marketing strategy. Hey, 72 hours before launch, 48 hours before launch, 24 hours before launch. Hey, the book is out.
Yep.
Go buy it right now. You want everything to convert into that. So yeah, first step would be concept. Second step would be metrics. Third step would be how to raise that number to get there. And then fourth would be like, there's the marketing strategy, there's the business pricing strategy and fulfillment all on the back end. It's a lot. It is a business from start to finish. As a writer, you have a great product, and now you just need to bring that product to market. And then once you sell it, once you get it kickstarted, then putting it on Amazon and other places as a source of passive income.
Got you. And I want to circle back to the conversation about concept, because again, that's the cornerstone of all of this. Yes. At the top of the interview, you said that your concept was built around the fusion of the artist, of the I guess the genre of art. In this case was pinup.
Yes.
Then an artist who already had a reputation for that. Can we talk about this for a second? In the age of AI,
yes,
where so many people are using AI for their art. Do you have any feelings about that as it relates to more visual books like yours?
AI is a great tool. I use it every day. I have it make my spreadsheets. I have it do research. I have it look at data, especially because I do a lot of marketing, digital marketing. I upload my research and spreadsheets into it. I say, here are the numbers. It's help me pick out what content to write that is low hanging, that has high, etc. I use it to take out the busy work for myself. Because I can look at the numbers in the spreadsheet. I can try to find things, or I can have the AI do it for me. It's fantastic for that. When it comes to art, I think if you use the AI for art, you're cutting off a ton of potential sales who are against AI art ethically, and you're also cutting off a lot of sales because your product looks cheap. AI art, it's very easy to distinguish between what's AI art and what's real art, but AI art will allow more people to publish, because I'm a writer. I'm the farthest thing from an artist. When I partner with an artist, I do great things, but every time I get into Canva or I try to make something, you can use AI to assist with that. But if your cover's AI, if your video ads are AI, my impression of when I see an AI ad for a book is that, okay, this artist is very much in the startup phase. This is their first or second project. They don't have money for an artist, or they're not successful. And the book, if the art is AI, what is the writing AI? And that's where my brain goes. So if I see, because I see this a lot on Kickstarter, okay, here's an AI slop project. And Kickstarter has been kicked a lot in the teeth by allowing AI slop as projects, because the art is completely AI generated. The page is completely AI generated. And it looks like, to put it bluntly, it looks like shit. And it's like, okay, if that looks like, then the actual product itself is going to look like, because that's probably going to be AI generated too. And what's to stop me from going into ChatGPT and prompting, hey, make the art of this and write me this. So if your project has AI art, it's like, what's stopping me from doing it myself? So with my demographic especially, I knew art is what was holding me back from a big project, and I had the funds to pay an artist, and we worked out a profit sharing deal. And I said, Rosa, your art is fantastic and amazing. You already draw pinups. You draw pinups in the fantasy space. I'm a fantasy writer in the gaming space, and we both share a lot of interests we both play the same video games. We both read a lot of the same things. So it still is a fantastic partnership. And especially with my crowd, they are very much against AI art and AI generated. And that's one of our selling points, is like, no AI. Because AI exists only in the digital sphere. It doesn't exist in the physical world. This is a whole nother spiel. It doesn't have our mindset. It doesn't know our interactions, our nuances culturally with how we interact. It doesn't have that with Rosa. She's a huge pinup fan. She has stacks of pinup magazines. She's very much a student of pinup, its history, its art, etc. And that shows in all of her art. Whereas an AI can copy that, but it doesn't have the soul of the experience in that. And you can definitely tell it's AI. So I've seen AI projects do very well. There's this one guy I'm friends with who he just puts out AI maps, makes like $10,000 per project, and it just putting out AI slop. But I don't want to call it slop because his stuff is actually decent. But just know that if you do use AI, you are targeting a very specific demographic of people who are okay with it and okay with spending money on it. Whereas with my project, you are buying human-made, very professional art from Rosa Mendez herself, and the D&D items are written by myself, and etc. And there's very much a human element to the writing. I can slip in some pop culture references or jokes in there that AI wouldn't understand or hit. It's a whole thing. The TLDR is, if you do decide to use AI, you are opening up some doors but closing a lot of others.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but if you are a lone writer and you don't have an artist, it is okay to use AI to supplement what you're doing, but that's not what you're selling. If you're selling AI art, then it's a problem. If you're selling writing that you're using AI art to market it, that's better. But it's still, again, as a buyer, if I see an AI ad, I'm going to think, oh, if they're making the ads with AI, the book is probably AI. Yeah. And I can just go into ChatGPT and prompt a whole book based on the same thing. Right. I don't need to spend $20 and wait 6 months to get it shipped to me.
And so this also ties into the whole concept of the book. So thank you. This wasn't a question that I initially planned to ask, but I'm so glad I did, because it did open the door to the conversation.
And I don't mean to shut on anyone who wants to use AI art for their stuff. I'm just, I don't know. A lot of people have different opinions on it. I know personally, with my buyer base and my fan base and what I want to do, AI is out of the question.
Yeah, that goes into knowing who your customer is, who you are, us individually, and what is okay for us and acceptable for us, and then also understanding our buyer, which we have to do, because obviously they're not going to buy anything that they have a strong opinion about, or they will buy because of that feeling.
On the other side of the equation, though, I think it's okay to use AI for the business end, because it does save a lot of time, and I will probably get a lot of hate for this, but doing research for like my Kickstarter, I looked, because I'm a writer, I've been a writer for 30 some years. I can look at these pages, I can pick out, okay, this is how this is formatted. It's benefit statement, this benefit statement that sells, etc. But that would take me hours and hours of looking at a bunch of Kickstarter pages, whereas AI, you can be like, okay, what is the main structure? What is the main theme that is being used in these landing pages that works? And then tells you, here's the structure. You still have to go in and write, but if you know the structure and what psychologically works, because you had AI do that research for you, instead of you going in and spending hours and hours reading Kickstarter pages just to come to the same conclusion, I think that's okay. My big thing with AI is that AI knows, I know 100% I'm forgetting my own phrase. AI knows only about 50% of what I know and 100% of what I don't. I've been doing Facebook ads for years. I've been doing landing pages for years. I've been writing for years. If I use AI to help me with that, it's going to get half of it wrong. But I know where I can fix that, and I can know why it's wrong, where it's wrong, how it's wrong, and fix it. Whereas if I use AI 100% for something I don't know, to me, that's correct. But 50% of what it put out is probably wrong. And you have to audit that. When I use AI for spreadsheets, it degrades over time. It loses, because I was using AI to track my profits for this project. I was like, okay, here's how many books have sold. Here's how much has been spent on ads. Here's how much the Kickstarter has raised. And it would say, you're at X profit. But over time, I was like, that can't be right. And I'd look in and I'd grill it. Have you seen Westworld where he's talking to the AI to, I forgot what the word is, but to get a baseline? I'm just like, what do you think my cost to print is? It's, oh, your cost to print is $8. And I'm like, no, my cost to print is $12. That's a huge percentage off. Like, you're saying I have way more profit than I should have in your calculations, because you're getting such a baseline that you're getting something that I put in and said, this is how much it costs to print. It is $12. And now you're doing your calculations at $8. That is I ended up saying this. I'm doing it in my own spreadsheet. I have all the numbers out because I'm not trusting this. It's degrading over time. Yeah. So be very careful. You could absolutely use AI for the business end to do numbers, to do research, but you need to audit it, and you need to know what you're doing, or you need to know how to find the errors, because it will hallucinate. It will mess up certain things. And a rounding error that severe, if I think I'm at X amount of profitability on the book, oh, I'm this profitable, I can afford to my ad spend can go down to 1.8. But then when it actually happens, and oh yeah, I'm profitable at 1.8 ad spend because this is how much my profit is. But then you find out later that the AI had your number wrong on your cost to print, and 1.8 you were actually losing money. That's bad, because suddenly you sold 1,000 copies at negative $4 per copy. You're suddenly $4,000 in the hole because you relied on this tool that was getting something very basic wrong. So
yeah, I like it. I like ChatGPT. No, me the well. And again, obviously, if you're the person that is managing that part of the business, who would be doing that, you would know what your numbers are. You would know that, I don't know where you pulled that number from, but this is what the number actually is as far as that error goes. But what you did say which I love AI for research, you just mentioned a moment ago about having it research other Kickstarter campaigns. I believe that's what you said. Correct me if I'm wrong, to give you a baseline of what's out there, what worked, what didn't work. Is that correct? And if that is correct, what prompt would you recommend someone put into ChatGPT to get that information if they're just starting out?
I'd start it with, hey, take the top 5 performing tabletop RPG Kickstarters of all time and tell me what they are and give me a link to them. And then it would spit out, and then I'd audit it. I'd say, okay, these are actual Kickstarters that did well in my vertical, and it'll get some of them wrong, as we know this isn't what I'm looking for, etc. Then you take the actual ones and I'd prompt it, okay, look at how these are structured. What is their formula that they're using to speak to buyers? Find common themes or something. And then it would spit out, okay, here's the themes. And you need to tell it to give you evidence every single time. Because if you don't ask it for evidence, it'll reference itself and then it'll start hallucinating. So that's how I get around it. It was like, okay, you have to ask for evidence, and then you have to check the evidence to make sure it's correct. Because I could go into Google and I could Google, okay, what's top performing Kickstarters in fantasy? I could do that. I could go into Kickstarter and look around. That would take me forever. It's faster to have the AI look at it and audit the AI. So find that, and then I go, okay, I start looking at these. I notice the common themes. I ask it for common themes because there's some I could have missed. Okay, here's the theme. So like for mine, it's you want to have the hero image with benefit statements, what it is, because you have to, someone else has to look at it and know exactly what it is within 5 seconds. If they don't know what it is, they're going to move on, or they're going to be like, I don't know what this is. So you have to know what it is. So hero image, and then next you have who we are. You want to build credibility of who we are. That's all the common Kickstarters follow that formula. And then the next one is like what you get. Like, what are you actually getting when you buy this and support this project? Then you want to do like a teaser of the contents of the book with either like a picture of the inside of it or something. So I had it research, okay, here's the main structure. But a lot of the structure for the ones that were successful were not what I was selling. So so I wrote all the words of ad copy, but I had it help me with the structure of everything. I didn't have it do it for me, but I had it assist in something that would have taken me hours and hours of research to look at other Kickstarters, write down in my spreadsheet, okay, this is what the first section should be, this is what the second section should be. I had it do that, audited it, took me an hour or two as opposed to 8 hours, and that sped me up 4x. And then it made me faster at what I was doing.
Perfect. Two things.
Yep.
For the listener, what you mentioned, you said the acronym letters RGB. Explain what that is for those who don't. You said
RGB.
I think you said RGB.
I know RGB is red, green, blue.
When we were talking, yeah, that's what maybe I misunderstood.
I do slur my words sometimes.
Okay. Because when you said it, I was like, what's RGB? I know RGB with printing. I mean,
that's what I know.
Okay, maybe I misread. The next thing is, we don't want to worry about that. The next thing is hero image. For those listeners who don't know what does that mean? Hero image.
Hero image is like when you go to if you're buying something, you go to a website and it's got like a big image or fancy text that's boom, this is what it is. That's one of the most important things. Like if you visit the Pinup Monster Girls, the hero image has changed because it's pre-orders are live, but it's Pinup Monster Girls, big picture of the Spider Girl, and then my logo, the 5e logo because it's for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and then the projects we love because that's social proof. Kickstarter, if there's a project that they love, they will give it that badge, and you want to promote that.
Okay.
That's the hero image. And then the hero image on the page is the big vertical image that's like Pinup Monster Girls. Your campaign has never looked this good. It's got a picture of the Spider Girl. It's got a picture of the book, and then it's got bullet points of what's inside. So that's your money makers, your hero image. Spend a lot of time on the hero image, make it look good, and make sure it communicates what you're doing.
We're almost at 90 minutes, and I want to respect your time.
Don't worry about it. I got another 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So what I wanted to do was, I guess, just for everyone, and what I will do, I will try to bullet point out the preliminary steps. I'm going to assume that for many of you listening to this, is that this is something that you're considering, something that you're thinking about doing, and what my goal is for this interview with Josh. I'd definitely like to bring you back for another follow-up conversation. Is just what things do I need to wrap my head around to prepare myself to potentially do this? Not that you're going to walk away from this, listening to this interview and go do it. And of course, again, whenever you are interested in doing that or available to do that, let me know and I can put your contact information there and they can reach out to you directly about the actual structure of what that could look like. What I like the listener to do is to begin with if you could give us just a quick, I know we already talked about concept. That's the foundation of everything. What would be the next 3 to 5 steps or two steps or up to 5 steps after that concept that you would recommend the listener do to get their mind and their concept together to pursue this?
Concept, and then I forgot the phrase that I use. Marketability, which kind of go hand in hand. How do you sell the products? Not to go on another tangent, but like one of my friends who was launching a project, it was an adventure. The way it was marketed was, oh, this is a love story between 2 NPCs, and you like play the D&D campaign within that. And I'm just like, the concept's not there because I don't give a fuck about these 2 people. I'm here to play Dungeons and Dragons and explore things. And then when I actually read the ad copy about what it actually was, you're actually in a haunted town that's being haunted by the ghost of it's actually like a murder mystery. And I'm just like, why are you not marketing that? Like, I would play the out of a murder mystery in Dungeons and Dragons. If you put my adventurer into a house, we get attacked by ghosts, and then there's this lady who's, oh no, these things are happening, and you find out that it's probably her ex-lover who's mysteriously died, is like haunting the town. That's an adventure I will play. But it was marketed as, here's this guy, here's this girl, here's their love story. It's like, you have to know how to sell your thing, and that can be the hardest part us as writers and creators is that you are so close to the project, you don't know how it looks to other people because you have all of this knowledge behind the scenes that it's very hard to get other people to know what you're doing and you're elevated. So concept, number one. Number two, marketability, how to sell it, how to present it. Like you see movie trailers all the time, or, oh, in a world where blah, blah. And then the actual story is way better. But the trailer got you hooked, though. And then you can tell the really good story. So you have to have a good hook. So concept, what was the second one I said? Marketability, actually having it done too. You need to write your book before a lot of people, they'll kickstart something and it's not done. I'm guilty of this. My book is 99% done. There's still formatting that needs to be done. I'm still editing the fights on some of the girls to make sure that they're balanced, etc. So at least be 90% done so you know what you're selling. Metrics, understanding metrics. Budget, I think, is another big one, and that goes into everything. If you have, for my first book, I had $2,000 to spend on it. And then for Monster Girls, I had $10,000 to invest into it. And then over time, I ended up investing, what was the math on that? I ended up spending $34,000 on it because it just, my ads were getting 5 to 8x return. So it's just like, you can't, if you're getting those good, and I'm profitable at 2.4, you keep throwing money in the machine. So budget, and you can't be afraid to spend money to make money. I know people say that all the time and it's really annoying to hear, but unfortunately it's true. And like you say, you're either going to pay in money or sweat equity. If you can combine both of them, you're golden. If you don't have money, you need to be building that audience through you need to be active and telling people about what you're doing organically. But sorry to go on another tangent.
No, it's fine.
So many creators that I work with and talk to, because also get involved in like creator communities. I'm in a bunch of Discords with other creators who are way smarter than I am, who know more about their concepts. And then there's other people who are new, who are learning from us, and you pay it forward. And as I've learned, I pass on my knowledge. And as I've seen other friends of mine who started small and now their projects are blowing up, get involved. But I see too many creators who are afraid to spend money on advertising. But I say this to people, I'm like, if I have $10,000 to launch a book, I'm going to spend 50 to 80% of that on ads. I'm not going to spend it on art or whatnot. I'm going to spend it on building the community to launch it, because as I say, it's more important to sell books than it is to write books. The book's going to be good. You're writing it. You know it's going to be good. And if you spend the money on ads and you get the money, then you can invest in an artist. Then you can invest in something else to make it good. So this friend of mine who launched their book, they spent $10,000 on it, but they spent $9,000 of that on the creation of the book, and they only had $1,000 left for ads. And I'm like, yeah, you're flipped. But they were too afraid to advertise. And they're like, okay, I'll try Facebook ads. I'll put $100 into Facebook ads. And I helped them design their ads. They got 4 leads off that $100, which is $24 a lead, which is not feasible. But at the same time, they only spent $100, which for some people, that's a lot of money. But for the Facebook algorithm, it's still figuring out who to target. You have to tweak your ad copy. There's a lot of experimentation that has to happen with Facebook ads before. Sometimes you have a home run. Sometimes they need more tweaking. He spent $100 on ads and then immediately backed out. It's nope, I only got four followers from it. I'm not spending any more on advertising. And I'm just like, dude, I'm going to be real with you here. Your project has 50 followers. You're going to be lucky if 5 or 10 of those back on day one. And you've invested $10,000 into this. You can't be afraid to spend money to make money. So you got to do more ads. You got to do more. And then he was scared about price. He priced his book at like his PDF version at like $10. And I'm like, no, other PDFs are priced at $20 to $25. Yeah. And I looked at the book. I read the book. It was amazing. It was fantastic. It was a murder mystery D&D campaign. It was like a murder mystery in a manor or whatever. And I was like, I would play this. I would love to bring this to my group of friends and be like, hey guys, let's play this murder mystery tonight. I got it on Kickstarter for $10, but he only priced it at $10. And like his book looked better than the one that I had done. And I priced mine at 24 and mine sold like hotcakes. And he priced his at 10. I'm like, no, this is easily a $25 PDF. This is easily a $30 hard soft cover or what have you, because it looked great. And I was like, you're not showing, you need to put images of this on. He said, oh, I don't want to reveal too much. I'm like, yeah, but you want to tease it. Like the interior of this book looks amazing. The adventure looks amazing, but you're too scared to put your money where your mouth is and do Facebook ads about it. You're too scared to promote it. If you have 10 grand in your hand, would you? And he had the concept. I believed in it. I would put 10 grand on this book if it were marketed correctly, but he wouldn't do it. So you got to spend money to make money. You got to be willing to bet on yourself. I know it's a platitude that people always say, you have to bet on yourself. You have to spend money to make money, but it's true. If you believe in your project, other people will believe in you and your project. If you don't believe in your project, if someone's selling this, I'm like, oh, I'm not really too sure about it. It's okay, I don't want to buy it, because if you're not sure about it and it's yours, why am I going to spend money on it? So yeah, if budget is a huge one. If you have $10,000, spend $8,000 of that on ads because then once you get the crowdfunding, then you can pay for an artist or what have you.
Exactly.
So after budget, then metrics, budget, and then strategy is the next one. Really understanding hitting your numbers is important. Because for Pinup Monster Girls, I budgeted $2 per lead is what I'm aiming for. I could have gone to $3 or $4 per lead. It would have cut into my profits, but what matters is that day one sales, and then it explodes from there. So even if you're at a slight loss, it's still important to get those leads. But if I was at $5, $6 per lead, I definitely have to change my ads to mix that up. And at the beginning, I was at like $1 per follower because I already had a fan base that was following. So even though I didn't spend money on those followers, my cost per follower was still pretty low. I invested like 5.6 or 5.1 thousand into ads pre-launch, which I showed you the numbers, for 2,500 followers. And then from social media, I did a giveaway on Reddit. I gained another 200, 300 followers. So my launch number was 2,800 followers on day one. And 200, 300 of those were free because it was a giveaway. It still cost me to send it. But that $12 to print the book, $5 to ship it, or $9 to ship it for 200 followers, when 20% of those will buy it, the math works out for itself. So strategy, and then back end pricing is how I do it.
As someone, I mean, I'm very familiar with Facebook ads, and I want to stick with that for just a minute because only because I know, first of all, so much of what you shared about your colleague that had $10,000 and invested $9,000 in artwork, and then $1,000 left over, and the whole $25 lead thing. I totally get all of that.
I've been there too.
And because typically, first of all, our passion is around our art. So obviously that's always going to be the priority where we're going to put our time into. And of course we want to put out a good product. But I always say too that marketing is an art as well in and of itself. But what I was going to ask about in regards to ads, because I use ads when I launched for several projects I've done. Let's say if the project is in development, you're still working out the artwork and you've got your concept down, we're still working all that out. What is your thoughts about using ads and the ad type I'm specifically talking about, which is what I've used pretty much most of my business career with ads, is lead form ads, which they say sometimes can not have the best quality leads, but they've worked for me. But anyway, I'm thinking like a lead form ad, which can then direct you get the contact information. Sometimes they put in bogus information always because it's already auto-populated. People go in and change it, or they'll put in it's not their email address, whatever. Directing them into a Skool community where you actually are now building a relationship with the audience, similar to what you did with Discord, and increasing the likelihood as you're still developing the book in and of itself that you're getting leads, you're getting. The biggest thing that I've recently experienced with myself and with one of my clients is that she had a massive, like I said, 35,000 TikTok following, but it was a one-way conversation. She had a little bit of an email list, but to have 35,000 followers and only 100 people on your email list, the math wasn't mathing. It was like, where were these people going? So the first thing we did was we set up a lead gen form on the website, and she's writing her book, but lead gen form. And I said, when you're doing all these videos and you're getting all of this interest, tell people to go get on your email list to go get a chapter of your book. And so that was what was building up the audience. And then I layered on the Skool community because I said, right now, it's a one-way conversation. What if we created a room, a forum, where they could get to meet you and discuss what's going on for them? Because she's dealing with a very meaty, very weighty topic. That has proven far and above to be one of the best strategies because we've 5x the email list. We got over 100 plus people just in the beginning phases in the community. Some of them now are now paying to be in the community. And she's now deep diving in. She's now knowing what new products and courses and things to make for them because
Mhm.
she does a weekly solid tight 1 hour conversation with them. And like last night's call was just, it went down we neither one of us expected it to go, but you find out what people are really dealing with and what they're about. And so I think if you're before you, this is just my thoughts. I would love to
Mhm.
get your feedback about it. Let's say you're 6 months to a year out from actually doing your Kickstarter campaign
Yeah.
itself, if you even do it at all. But I'm just
Mhm.
saying, what do you think about that strategy about creating this container where you're building the list, nurturing, getting to know these people, and them getting to know us? Because I think a lot of us as artists, we want to hide behind our book. Where I feel like where the real value is that they get to know you and maybe Rosa, if that I'm
Mhm.
not saying, what do you think about that? Just get your feet wet with ads. They tend to be not the they don't tend to be the most expensive leads. They are a little less expensive in my opinion. But I would say out of 100 leads I'd probably get like 3 to 4 that are bogus. I can look at the email and go, you
Mhm.
just put in triple XYZ and
Yeah.
at Hotmail. Who uses Hotmail anymore? But anyway, I just wanted to get your thoughts about that.
No, that's it. What you described is exactly how you do it. That's
Hmm.
perfectly encapsulates, and I think she would be the perfect person to, if she were to publish a book, to launch on Kickstarter first. She already has the audience. You started encapsulating those 35,000 followers. They like her content. She likes what she's doing. She puts out TikTok saying, "Hey guys, I'm launching this book on Kickstarter," and then she promotes it because she already has the audience. She can tease sections of it. What you said earlier about offering a free chapter of the book as a free download. That's how you build your email list. You offer something of value. And yeah, I'll give my email for this. And if I like it, I'll stay on the email list and keep hearing about it. No, everything you described is perfect. I would love to hear from her or work with her, or you work with her, watches this, because she is, like I said, I've watched YouTubers with huge followings launch something on Kickstarter, and because they already have that audience, they already have that crowd for crowdfunding, they will back it. And something I did fail to mention is that with Kickstarter, a lot of people are not only backing their project, they're backing the creator because they believe in the creator as well. So
Exactly.
having that face to the name and backing the person as much as you are backing the project, it also helps a ton, especially with in a creative space where it's either art or it's writing.
And getting your feet wet with ads, which again, to me, I totally get what you're saying. Is
Yeah.
that if that gentleman, that young man would have done 50% of that 10,000
Mhm.
into ads
Yeah.
and built that audience up faster. Organic is great, no shade about organic, but it's slow.
It's slow.
It's slow. Now, in the case of my client, she got 35,000 followers in, I think she told me she launched her TikTok a little shorter of a little over a year ago
Mhm.
and got this many followers. But again, the topic that she picked is very controversial. It's very
Mhm.
much it's on everyone's tongue right now. Everyone's talking about it. So it was a timing thing.
Yeah.
And she also has a little bit of a pedigree. She's already been out there in the field, so to speak. She had a name there already. So I'm sure that had a lot to
Oh
contribute
yeah.
to the TikTok growing as fast as it did.
Mhm.
But money likes speed. If you've got the cash to put into it, even if you want to even go, it's like I'm willing to invest 500 or 1,000 just to test. The first ads are always going to be a test just to see, is the creative working, the copy, the images, and of course adjust and tweak. One last thing I want to ask about ads, and I'll move off of that. What do you think about the changes now with Facebook? With you basically just want you just they just want us to upload the artwork and the creative, and then the AI tool does all of the audience finding for us. Back in the olden days, what 2 years ago, we had to put all that stuff in.
For what I'm doing for the ad. I had help with my ads. There's a really fantastic creator who has a Discord community called Pre-Launch Club. And that's a lot of experts, a lot of people a lot smarter than I am about Kickstarter launches are in there. They're way more involved with ads. I used a lot of his formula for targeting. And I forgot the original question. With the AI, what he recommends is not using the AI to do it. And I haven't. I've been doing my own personal targeting. But at the same time, Facebook is getting rid of a lot of categories. If I wanted to find left-handed people within 10 miles of the 89113 zip code, I could. But now with Facebook, I can't really, because they want you to use their Advantage Plus targeting. So I still use the normal targeting. I've experimented with Advantage Plus. I definitely need more insight into that. And to go back to the story about the gentleman who they actually did a second project and they raised $50,000. So I didn't want to disparage them too much with their first project. It looked amazing. It ended up raising $12,000 to $15,000. So they $2,000 to $5,000 profit. At the end of the day, they did spend a ton of time and money on the project. So overall, it was still a profit. They still got their feet wet. They still learned how to do a project. Their next project that they did, they took the concept is like monster hunting of like big monsters in Dungeons and Dragons, which everyone loves fighting giant monsters. They took that, they turned it into like an anthro study of the monsters as well. And the book he hired a marketing firm, a Gelop, the same folks that I use, and he invested in ads. And the project did $50,000. He took them. He learned from his mistakes on the first one, fixed them, and he has a $50,000 campaign under his belt now. Because my friend who's a serial entrepreneur, he always says, if you can do something yourself, do it. Because once you start getting other people involved, your profits are going to take a huge cut. But you still need to leverage people who know more than you. So he leveraged an ad company that knew how to do Facebook ads. And I don't know how much their cut was, but I'd rather sell a $50,000 book and make $10,000 profit than sell a $12,000 book at $2,000 profit. It's a spend money to make money kind of thing. So to answer your original question about the Facebook ads, I'm not sure about the Advantage Plus. I still do the old school targeting. Again, you have to try it. I have a client right now that I'm doing Facebook ads for that they're not performing very well. And we looked at it and it's the ad copy. So we're changing the ad copy. I might change the targeting to Advantage Plus and we'll see what happens. We've only spent $150 on the ads, but I also want to $150 with 0 leads. I'm definitely changing those and trying to figure it out. And sometimes the product is harder to sell in the environment. Sometimes it's an easy sell. So you just got to experiment with the ads. And it's very much a scientific process of, okay, what is it this variable? Is it that variable? And then, like you said, it's marketing itself is an art and it's also psychology, because you need to have good art that sells, that speaks to the psychology, but then you also have to have the math behind it that makes sure everything works. So it's a discipline. And not to go off on another tangent, but a lot of folks.
No, Facebook has what, in my experience, I've always heard is that you got to have that first, whatever, few dollars, whatever it is, 100, 1,000, whatever, but have that in to test. You need data in order to figure out what's working and what's not working. And also, too, what's the ad objective? Is it to procure just the contact information, which is what I was saying a moment ago, you all listening, which is a lead form ad. Then there's for conversion and there's for engagement. The engagement ones, me personally, I wouldn't bother with, because that just means that someone looks at it, is, oh, here I am kind of thing, but it doesn't lead to a call to action. Even if you put one in there, in my experience, no one really clicks on anything. But I like the lead format because it gives me what I want, and what Facebook does with the lead format, and why I feel like the lead costs can be lower on that, because it keeps them with what they want, is to keep them in the container. They don't have to leave Facebook to actually.
Yes, I have a love-hate relationship with the lead form ads. For my past campaigns, I've always ran 2 ads. I've run one directly to the Kickstarter page, and I've run one directly to the lead form ad, because I was sending them to a landing page that I designed, but my technical knowledge is not that great. And my landing page was getting $4 per lead. My Facebook form was getting like 90 cents per lead. And then my Kickstarter was getting like $2 per lead. So again, the $2 per lead, that 20% of those will convert. The email list, 1 to 5% will convert. But I'm also getting a cheaper email list at, 80, 90% and 90 cents per lead or something. So You're still building the list. You're still investing the overall. Yeah. Your goal is to collect their email so that they get on that list. And that's also important when you do these ads. You have to have the goal. And the goal for a Kickstarter campaign is to get them interested in your product so that they buy it on day one. And by giving a free demo, again, the other reason why my email leads are weaker is because I am offering a free chapter of the book. A lot of people are just there for the free stuff, but there's still 1% to 5% will still buy and still be on that email list. Email them and you say, hey, we're 7 weeks from launch. Here's a teaser of one of the monsters or what have you. And then your Kickstarter page still has that link to the email list or to the Discord so that they also join the email list. So it's everything just feeds into everything at all times. So you containerize them into the email list and or the launch page and or like a Discord community if you have one.
Yeah. So again, for those of you listening, Discord is one platform. Like I said, I am now all about Skool right now, which I love the platform. And if you would, so again, for you listening, if you are in the you're still trying to get it all. You have a concept, you're still trying to get it all figured out. You want to build up an audience. You don't want to rely solely on organic. You might consider testing a lead form type structure. Like I said, the lead costs can be, on my experience, has been around $1.50 or less. It depends on if it's really doing well, if it's performing well, actually, even if it starts out at $2, if it's converting well, it will drop. At least it's been my experience, it will drop over time. I've seen it go from $1.50 like to under 80 something cents a lead. The leads aren't always the best, but I've also sold to that list. So it's all about how you nurture those who are showing up. And again, what I like about the Skool community is that if I can direct them from the ad over into that community, then that gives me the chance to really do the warm up and the connection and all of that. If I'm still trying to figure all of that out, and then once you've got if you decide to move a Kickstarter, you get that, what did you call the page again? Not the final campaign, but the initial one that you set up to get.
Yeah, the pre-launch page.
The pre-launch page. Once you get that set up, you can direct your email list, and let's say, in my case, the Skool community to go over there to go check that out. But then you can switch the ad type up, or had a secondary ad that would go from the ad, as Josh said, over to the Kickstarter page to begin with. And that would be the objective, would be what, for conversion, or what would be the objective on that?
Conversion. I was doing like web visit and then just hoping that the visitors would convert. I think it's just easier to do it as conversions now these days. And then also, I don't know if we mentioned retargeting, having the in Kickstarter, you can put your meta pixel on your pre-launch page. So when they visit the page, if they leave and go back to Facebook, your ad is going to be following them as they go. And in marketing, it takes 7 to 12 touches before someone usually converts. So that just helps convert people. And then you can also, if you do like TikTok, if you do Facebook Reels, if you do organic content, which I did do a lot of organic content for Pinup Monster Girls. I had a video creator, she's amazing, make memes and jokes and just funny content about which isn't selling the book, but it's just in the same genre to Dungeons and Dragons audiences. You can actually set up a Facebook audience of people who watched your reels for more than 10 seconds. You can target them with ads for your book. So they know about you from your funny content, and then they go, oh, these people are also selling a book. I love what they do. I didn't know they were doing a book. And then it's all the channels feeding into each other to hit engagement on everything.
Yeah. We've covered a lot. Went different directions I didn't plan, but that's how it all goes. It's all good. And I'm sure some of you listening, I think I actually might split this up and make this a two-parter. So part one, part two, we went a little bit fine, but it's totally fine. But I wanted this to be for you listening, just to wrap your head around this. I'm not saying everyone is going to want to do a Kickstarter campaign, but I could not, as I didn't know anything about Kickstarter campaigns. I know about Kickstarter, but not for books. So again, when I met you, I was like, yeah, I want to have a conversation about this. And that's what this is, a conversation. If it's something that you seriously think you want to pursue, then like I said, contact me, contact Josh. I have no doubt that we'll have Josh back on, and who knows, we might work on something together with.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And because any way that we, again, for author creators, as I always like to position us, is that the business side of it is not always inspiring. It can be definitely intimidating, especially when money is involved.
Yeah.
And it can just feel, "Yeah, that's taken away from what I'm really supposed to be here to do." But if the project is something that you want to do, that you actually do want to make money from, just like a 9 to 5, you got to punch in.
Yep.
You got to do the work. And if you're doing it just for fun, that's great. Put it together, throw it up on Lulu or throw it up on Amazon, make a few bucks and share it with some friends and do that. But if you're really trying, you're really behind something that you really believe in, it doesn't feel like a risk. It's what, but you do want to have some strategy, one of the points that you made about it. And that's what
Mhm.
I hope you all listening got out of this conversation. So this isn't the total plan. This is just the beginning of the conversation to whet your appetite for the possibility of exploring this. And if you do it smart, and
Yes.
be strategic. So Josh, you have any last thoughts or?
I have more of just a personal rant. A lot of people message me and they say, "Hey, I want to write for you. I want to do this." I'm like, "Okay, send me something to do, prove it." And they don't. And whenever someone says, "Oh yeah, I want to write for Kickstarter. I want to launch things on Kickstarter," I'm like, "Okay, then do it." And they don't. They say they want to, but then they don't take the steps. So I think there's a lot of just not to the meme of Shia LaBeouf, where it's like, just do it. That's
Yeah.
if you want to pursue it, do the research and start putting in the work.
Yeah.
Just start doing it. Don't. The hardest step is getting something on paper. Your community is probably already writing and
Hmm.
whatnot. So okay, so they're already writing. So this doesn't apply to them. So they've
Yeah.
already written, and now take the next step. If you write something, you're already doing more than 99% of the population who says they want to write something. If you try to bring it to market, you're already above 99% of people in that bucket.
Yeah.
Definitely do the research and take the steps.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing I love about print on demand, whether you use Amazon or Lulu now, is that if you have an idea, you're willing to at least get something that you can physically walk into someone and show them. First of all, I think it does a lot for your own self-esteem because you actually did do something. We don't have to wait on a gatekeeper anymore to produce, in this case, a book. And I always say when people ask what you do, I don't care if you, I said this just yesterday, I don't care if you drive Uber. When someone asks, what do? You don't tell them you drive Uber, you tell them you're an author.
Yep.
Because the next question becomes then, oh, what's your book about? And then opens up the door to the conversation because you don't know who you're talking to and who they know. And that can at least start opening the door. And you said something I want to piggyback on. I just heard a conversation a few days ago with a director. I can't think of who the director was, but he said, I got the best pitch ever. He said, most people come up to me and say, I want to make films and I really want to follow your footsteps and so on and so forth, or blah, blah, blah. He said, but I had someone pitch me and actually handed me their movie that they had already made. And he said he's never had anyone do that. Like they're talking about what they want. He's like, you want to make a film, go make the film. At least I can look at something and say, oh, okay, maybe this wasn't shot this way or the best light or this angle or that, but at least he's shown me that he really wants to be a filmmaker by making a film.
Yep.
In this concept, show someone you want to be an author by making the book.
Yes. 100%.
With
Get something
POD,
on.
it's only one copy. No one, they may never see it, but the people at Lulu, and they're not going to tell on you if it's a bad book. So anyway, that's just my thought about my 2 cents about that.
Awesome. Uh, Random question: who are you interviewing at Lulu? Is it?
Her name is Chelsea. I turned my phone up because I didn't want it to ping. I don't know her last name off the top of my head, but her first name is Chelsea. That's all I know right
Okay,
now.
I don't know Chelsea. My
Yeah.
person is Anna.
I had
Awesome.
I had messaged them through LinkedIn and someone from their PR person got back to me and then connected me with the person I'm actually talking to. So we have a interview on next week and then we'll schedule the interview after that.
Awesome.
Definitely keep you posted.
Cool.
All righty. All righty. Thanks, Josh, again so much. I really appreciate it. Seriously, I really appreciate it, man. You've been like, I'm telling you something, folks, like sometimes step outside your comfort zone. I'm not a morning guy, but I got up for that and I got a donut out of it too. So
I'm glad.
get outside your comfort zone, go out there and meet people because you never know who you're going to meet. And it's all about just connection and networking and supporting each other. Anyway, so I'm going to put all the links to everything that Josh has mentioned inside of the show notes here. If you are listening, I'll put them in the audio version of it. If you go on YouTube, You can find all the links there. If you prefer to watch instead of listening, it's just, we didn't show any pages or anything like that. So it's just two talking heads. But if you prefer to watch on YouTube, that's fine. And stay tuned. Like I said, I have a good feeling we're going to be doing some more collabs in the future.
Awesome. I'm
Thanks
looking forward
again,
to it.
Josh, and good luck with everything. And can't wait to hear what happens next.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Have a good one.